One.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are listening to Mubarak Radio with our official partners, Interpal. Alhamdulillah, we have a live program right now, a special program for all the reverts as well. So please, brothers and sisters, if you do know any reverts, anybody who has come into Islam, etc., then please kindly pass them a message on, because these shows that is going to be done by, and I'm going to introduce to everybody onto Al Mubarak Radio. His name is brother Mr. Kauther, and he is a professional in this very field, because he is going around the whole of the United Kingdom and also around the world with his messages. He has very beautiful programs that he does not only on this radio, other radios as well. He is an event organizer. He also hosts events, etc. And Mr. Kauther will be coming into the studio weekly. Also, other weeks will be coming in with guests as well. So firstly, let's greet Mr. Kauther with the beautiful greetings of Islam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, my brothers and sisters, for listening and viewing as well. I presume, mashallah, we're also on camera as well. Jazakallah khair for inviting me to this program. This is the first of, hopefully, inshallah, many of a series of Revert show. There's a great need for us Muslims to learn about Islam, and also learn about how our Revert brothers and sisters, how are they coping, how they're managing, why did they come into the fold of Islam. It's inspirational stories that we need to hear from people, mashallah. And I'm really privileged to be here to enable that to happen, inshallah. I'll try to facilitate inviting people into the studio or even on the telephone to learn about their stories, inshallah. I, as Brother Mubarak had said, I think it was too much in the context. I have been delivering a lot of Islamic awareness courses for non-Muslims across the 80 different local authorities in the UK, and I have done it abroad as well, mashallah. And what I've learned is that there's so much interest about Islam. So many non-Muslims are wanting to learn about Islam. They might not all embrace Islam, because they need to be inspired, they need to be told, they need to be informed. And we as Muslims, we are required to, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the Quran, saying that we need to invite to the way of your Lord with beautiful preaching. And by interacting with non-Muslims and by sharing our knowledge about Islam, inshallah, people will be not only wanting to learn more, but have a positive image about Islam, but also, inshallah, revert to Islam as well. We have competition because there's a lot of people who are doing things that are not Islamic, and so many things that are happening around the world, and people perceive that Islam is more about promoting terrorism, and this is something that we need to challenge and portray the positive light of Islam. So inshallah, this show is going to be about that. So Brother Mubarak, can I tell you, what kind of experiences have you had with new Muslims?
Alhamdulillah, over a period of time on Al Mubarak Radio, alhamdulillah, a lot of reverts have approached us by listening to our shows, and by whether it's by email or WhatsApp, etc. Because I feel, after reading a lot of revert messages, that there is not enough help for them once they come into Islam. Okay, we all say Takbir and Allahu Akbar when we hear of a brother or a sister coming into Islam. I think there's a call coming in, and we can please.
Might be Brother Khalil, who might be phoning from Norwich. Let me ask him. Walaikum salam, Brother Khalil. You're on air now, mashallah. People are listening. This is a live radio show, and I'm really pleased that you phoned. You're the first caller on this show, and I'd like to ask you a few questions, if that's okay, my brother.
Absolutely, yes. I'm ready to respond accordingly.
Excellent, mashallah. Tell me, give me your full name first of all.
It's Khalil Mitchell.
Khalil Mitchell. What was your name before?
Craig. C-R-A-I-G.
Sorry, say it again?
C-R-A-I-G.
Okay, mashallah. So, Brother Khalil, you live in Norwich. You're a good friend of mine, so we know each other for many years, mashallah, and we only met up only last week. And
you and I met up. No, I met you about 4 years ago in Norwich.
Subhanallah. That's right, yes.
Don't forget about that.
Yeah, that's true.
We recently saw each other in Norwich a week ago. Yes, alhamdulillah. Yeah. Everything going well. So the show's on there just now, absolutely fine.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a list of analysts that you've got some questions to speak about. And thank you very much for having me. I'm very honoured to be on your show. And there is definitely some things that, based on what you've informed me about how you're proceeding, certain things, it sounds very interesting.
You see, because Brother Khalil, as you know,
communication.
Yeah, mashallah, as you know, Brother Khalil, for we as born Muslims, we take Islam for granted. We have it on our plate. But we need to learn from yourselves as to what inspired you to come into the fold of Islam. When did it happen? How it happened? And now that you are Muslim for many years, what are your experiences with the Muslims, but also your own spirituality and your Iman? Tell us something about that, inshallah. So first of all, what made you come into the fold of Islam?
Well, firstly, the statement you made that those who are born Muslims take their Islam for granted. I wouldn't like to generalize and say that is often the case. Bear in mind, no person living now would have found Islam if it hadn't been for people who were born Muslim generationally over hundreds of years, having remained enthusiastic and aware of what they have.
MashaAllah.
That's very important to grasp. The man that introduced me to Islam was somebody who was born Muslim. He was half Pathan, half Scottish. And basically, I lived with him in Edinburgh. And over a period of a year and a half, it took a long time. We had many conversations about Islam, which ultimately led me to saying Shahada in 2001.
MashaAllah. That's very good.
There's a lot more detail to it, but I don't think I could squash out into the space of 10 minutes. It just me talking and you not be able to answer any questions at all.
No, you carry on because we'd rather hear from you. Carry on, brother.
Yeah, well, I mean, with a short simple, the thing I didn't consciously say to my friends when I wasn't with them, I didn't consciously say I'm looking for the truth. Didn't come in that way. It was something that it fell in place. It gradually moved. When I met Muslims that were positive, spoke enthusiastically about what they had over a period of time, and they behaved very well.
MashaAllah.
No such thing as it's like a set of instructions without its behavior. The man I lived with, that's how I entered into Islam. I lived with a Muslim. We in an apartment in Edinburgh. Now the way he was, how he behaved, what he did, what he didn't do. When I did something, he'd comment on it being a particular thing that was relevant, and other times he'd say it's not the best thing to do. Look at you. What's wrong with you? He was honest with me, but he was sweet and subtle. Did not say to me once you should say Shahada in a year and a half.
MashaAllah.
He told me what Muslims did. He told me how to enter into Islam. He said there's a procedure whereby you enter into Islam. You're expected not to do these things, and you're expected to do these things. But the main thing I would say is he spoke about Allah. He spoke about Allah, and not just a case of all his rules. He gave a perspective as to why Muslims did this, why the Messenger
Absolutely.
It wasn't just this rashness, it's a very strange habit Muslims have got nowadays that, I sometimes thought this is rational analysis, but, the Quran is the word of God because of all the science in it. And that's not how these things work, from what I know. If you can rationalize your way into something, you can rationalize your way out of it.
That's true, yes. So tell us, so Brother Khalil, now from your experience, give us some tips. Now you're saying for 1.5 years, this brother never forced you, never imposed Islam on you. He just talked about Allah. And then you got at the end of the day, you basically was inspired by whatever he said to you. And that spirit came to you, that spirituality, now you got that and you have the deen in you. what can we learn from that about what some Muslims do in terms of imposing Islam or in terms of rationality that you mentioned?
Muslims can do dawah without understanding what's going on in the world today.
Absolutely.
Why would anyone listen to a Muslim who, without an understanding of why Islam works now? It's a surreal kind of state that we're in where, it's all about the science. To the average non-Muslim, it's not relevant. Nothing is that when Muslims are doing dawah, what they call dawah, which is it's not thing as dawah. Dawah is behavior. It's not like this formal script. We can't have these scripts that we read to people. And it's like this process. It's like a rule book. We're not robots. People are not robots.
No.
So, the behavior accompanying with a credible knowledge, this is what has to happen. Muslims need to know about how the world works at this time.
So basically,
so
Islam is not changing. It's as it is based on Quran and Sunnah. But what you're saying is applying that in current environment.
Why would a non-Muslim think Islam, 1,400 years old, is relevant at this time? Okay, so these are the kind of things I had to answer myself. Now, when my friend explained, I was a political mind. A lot of non-Muslims are a lot more political than Muslims. It's something we've got to understand. Things that Muslims are scared to talk about, non-Muslims are speaking about now.
Yes.
And we've got to address these things and learn about what's going on in the world. It's almost like, Muslims are hiding under a rock saying, I want to tell everyone I think the world is okay, and don't point your finger at me. The non-Muslims are the ones who are uncovering things, looking at things, and exposing things. And it ought to be the job of the Muslims to be doing these things, but we're not doing it. So part of what I do, we try and understand in the Muslim faculty of advanced studies, which is what we're based in Norwich.
The Muslim faculty for people who do
create a zone of operation whereby people find these things out.
But Khalid, can you tell the listeners about the Muslim faculty in Norwich? For people who are
Muslim faculty is a fairly overlooked operation, as is Norwich, a fairly overlooked operation. Now, there is an English Islam. There is an Islam that people born into Britain, if they're from an Asian background, an Algerian background, you have an element of British culture in you, as well as the other cultures. And, where do we look? When people are talking on the TV about British Islam, what does that mean? And, Norwich, it was built mostly for people who became Muslim, not just, there was a few, not just a new Muslim community. So what we have to understand is that we have a situation in Norwich where for 40 years we've been taking on angles of looking at the world, angles of Islam, dozens of translations of books like the Ashifa al-Iyad, the Muwatta of Imam Malik, and we've rooted ourselves in a very firm transmission of Islam, and many people, as was the case of myself, looked everywhere in the world, understood how everything was working for finding Islam.
Yes.
And it took people who had a sound understanding of the world, it's not about politics, left wing, right wing, it's about what is behind the politics.
That's right.
What's going on? Muslims seem to understand, when the blues go in power, they start doing red things. And when the reds go in power, they start doing blue things.
Yes.
So everyone's grasping this now. It's got to be the job of the Muslims to go beyond that and work out what is actually fueling the system. How did it get like this? What is the thing? Why did it change? Why are no leaders allowed to change so-called systems of taxation or economics, or we're not allowed to have an overhaul of the economic system. No leader that comes into power is able to do that.
Yes.
What do all these things mean? So these are the kinds of things I want to know about. When I met Muslims who understood these things, they said, okay, the left wing and the right wing are irrelevant. The economic system and those that run the economic system, so-called market forces, that we constantly hear politicians talking about not upsetting the market forces. What are they? What are these market forces that are dictating everything? These are the things that I was lucky enough to meet people who were affiliated with Norwich and were able to explain these things.
MashaAllah. And I've seen the website, and I know these two of the sheikhs at least, and they also reverts to Islam, MashaAllah, in the Muslim faculty. I'm really pleased that you're doing some excellent good work. You might want to mention your website, so if brothers and sisters who are listening, they might want to log on.
People type in the Muslim faculty Google, it should come up first.
Okay, so if you put Muslim faculty Norwich, yeah, that's true. You're right. Muslim faculty.
Actually, www.themuslimfaculty.org.
Yeah. Okay. The muslimfaculty.org.
The
TheMuslimFaculty.org. MashaAllah.
I mean, basically, we've now got about 72 video recorded, HD video recorded lectures online from 6 different modules.
MashaAllah. And
three of which are about looking at the world and trying to understand how the world has become the way it has. And the other 3 are aimed to root students in a rigid, a broad and rigorous understanding of the Islamic sciences.
MashaAllah. I mean, this is the reason why I'm organizing, based on what you're just saying, brother, I'm organizing a conference on extremism and what does Islam say about violent extremism. And we have the Sheikh from the Muslim faculty who will be presenting the video that he had recorded, MashaAllah, not too long ago.
Yeah. Well, Sheikh Abdul Haq Bewley did a very good video. It's on our homepage.
MashaAllah.
It can actually be viewed there. But basically, a response to the ISIS killing.
Yeah, and also,
Sheikh roots it in a historical understanding about what ISIS actually are.
MashaAllah. And I think Sheikh Abdul Haq has also done many other videos as well. And Haji Usman has also done some good work on economics and the business ethics as well, MashaAllah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think you're quite right. You see, we need to have these issues discussed and have an Islamic perspective to these issues, and not hide ourselves and just look at in terms of rituals. We need to look at all perspectives, because the application of Islam is everywhere. Islam is a complete way of life, and I totally agree with you, with Khalil.
Alhamdulillah, the Muslims have been given a tremendous gift. The mostly Asian Muslims in this country are given gifts that the other Muslims from other cultural backgrounds haven't got. We've got to understand that every culture has a secret. And, there's something, I learned this initially through an Asian transmission of the deen. And, and there's things that I learned. A man can say Shahada, but there's so many things I learned from the Asian Muslims that are not prevalent in other Muslims. Generosity. One was Germanic, it was Spanish, it was French, British people. We don't have an Asian. What the Asians have, the children, and people that are of generational Asian background, Pakistan or India, Kashmir, or Bangladesh, or anywhere else, is the rest of the culture remains the children. The other culture needs to be observed. Generation. Both of them sort of grasp it. So the elders understand it. It also things occur where every generation has to plug into, has to go through I'm not anyone looking at everything. Learning that we do learn well, permissible, light, and then on the other side we learn what is this is high level. I know it, but it's like very as it was passed down through the Medina model and encapsulated by Mubarak people. So we've got we have got phases of learning that people need to learn.
And we'll no doubt
Like you with me just
I mean,
gain the greatest of knowledges.
MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair, Brother Khalil, with your kind words. And give best thanks to Sheikh Abdul Haq. And no doubt I will be inviting him on this show one of these days, inshallah, as well.
One person listening to it, I will take it, you know, how many people, you're just one person of one.
No,
Anyone
Jazakallah khair. Take care. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi. Okay. MashaAllah, that was Brother Khalil from very inspirational, has a knowledge, mashallah, and he also does a lot among the non-Muslims too, and lives in knowledge, and he's part of the Muslim faculty in knowledge, and they're doing some excellent work. Please do log on to their website, you learn so much from them, and hopefully we'll have somebody else from that Muslim faculty, for example, take a little. Inshallah, we'll take a short break. In terms of the If Amina rings, you can always answer her and take this off. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, my brothers and sisters who are listening and also viewing. We're on Al Mubarak Radio, and the official partners of Al Mubarak is Interpal. So, Jazakallah khair for logging on or listening to the radio or WhatsApp or whatever it might be, inshallah. This is the Revert show. My name is Kauther. So here is with me Al Mubarak, who support me and stand by in terms of the discussion as well. We should soon be taking a call from Sister Amina, inshallah. She's a revert to Islam. She lives in Sheffield, and we shall soon hear from her as to what she has to say. Mubarak, what do you think of the aspects around reverts to Islam? What kind of do you think? What kind of issues do they face? I mean, I get the impression that they do not get a lot of support from non-Muslims. What do you think?
Exactly what I was saying at the first part of the show, talking about when you asked me, I get a lot of mail, a lot of interaction through WhatsApp, etc. They don't have really anything. I was saying, okay, we, as Muslims, when we hear about somebody coming into Islam, we say, mashallah, etc. But after that, what do we really do for our, revert brothers and sisters? Not much. I don't think there is a setup in our communities for a start.
I mean, Brother Khalil was giving me the impression that the non-Muslims are the ones who assisted him and in his environment. But I know that he also mentioned to me that there are some people who perhaps just take it for granted, like you say, the shahada, and that's it. There's no support network for them. And their culture is slightly different. They eat differently, they dress differently, but they're Muslims, alhamdulillah. I mean, sometimes they are more practicing than non-Muslims. You know, they have more deen than myself, for example.
Yeah.
And I think we need to ensure that we give them the support that they need, help them, because I have also heard that there are people who have gone back to their former religion or you know, gone to become atheists. Because people are lost at the moment. They try all other faiths and they come to Islam. And if there's no support from the Muslims, this is what will happen. And we are responsible for that.
Definitely. And you know, Mr. Kauther, this is one of the reasons this whole set is important. And the reason I contacted yourself and when we discussed, you know, you have alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, because I know it was I'm listening to myself, so from Mr. Kauther, really to say, Mubarak Foundation part in the world in touch with us and let us
communication between each other, between Muslims and new Muslims, but also non-Muslims. I want, hopefully, inshallah, non-Muslims to log in and listen to and to learn about the true message of Islam. About submission to Allah, you know, living peacefully, coexisting people with people who are Muslims. And
yes. Now that's a very beautiful message, and what I feel also is within our communities, Mr. Kauther, we should have in every community, okay, a walk-in for the reverts, okay, where they feel okay when you know they accept Islam and they take the Shahada, okay, they should know and have information that this is a place in your very own community, okay, because you could be out somewhere and you meet somebody who's a revert. Everybody should have information that where in the UK or where in the world we are, okay, there are places that you know the reverts can walk in and you know gain, you know, a simple thing like you know when somebody comes into Islam, we should have the provision and provide a basic, you know, musalla, a prayer mat, you know, basic garments for you know the Islamic prayers. Basic books needed to be available where for somebody who just accepts Islam to understand the very, very basics of what Islam is all about, what is my duty now as a Muslim, okay, to, you know, make my creator happy, and the main also teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that you know how I should follow. So basic form of book and some you know a pack should be available for reverts that here you have accepted Islam. This will and an information pack who to get in touch with, okay, for more information, more knowledge, etc. So these things are
and there are some books that are available now, mashallah, those people who embrace Islam, about how they can be continuing this journey. There's some good books that have been written, and also for non-Muslims, you know, how they become Muslims. There's so much information available. Perhaps this could be a forum where we can give, or if anybody is asking for a booklet on this type, then we'll actually have it ready to give to them. And inshallah, in future shows, we'll bring those books and authors as well, inshallah. And perhaps we might even produce some leaflet and some booklet for us to give out to people.
We just got a message from St. Albans. Okay, somebody probably hearing us on the app, but obviously they've heard that we're also on YouTube and wanting the YouTube link. We're here live today with Mr. Kauther, who is an expert in these fields. So
I won't say expert.
No, alhamdulillah, but you know, I know that you do a lot of seminars and programs, you know, around all of these subjects. So brothers and sisters, feel free, if there are any reverts listening as well, to contact us on this very telephone number, the landline number, 01924 472 776. If you have any questions, feel free. This is why we are doing these shows. I'll repeat the number, 01924 472 776. Alternatively, you can text or WhatsApp us on 07868 476 577. That's 07868 476 577. Don't feel shy and don't be afraid. Remember, we're here to help, inshallah. And if you are, there's a saying, if you don't ask, you'll never know.
If I ask sister, if I ring this number,
yes,
I can put this on
yeah, we can do that.
Hello, this is the main line.
Right.
Okay, inshallah. We're just waiting for Sister Amina to ring in, and when she has, then we'll talk to her, inshallah. Otherwise, we have Brother Abdullah, Maran Abdullah, who is based in London. He used to live in Bournemouth, and he'll be, inshallah, speaking to us later on.
Because he had a show as well on Sunday,
all right,
on our very radio, and yes, also in the whole month of Ramadan, he gave, I think, an hour a day, alhamdulillah. So Sheikh Abdullah Hudson,
yeah, inshallah. So soon we'll be we can talk to Sheikh Abdullah as well. Let me see if I can text him, inshallah, and also ask him to ring in as well, inshallah. If there are any brothers and sisters who are listening who want to make a call or ask questions, inshallah, do so on the studio number, which is 01924 472 776, or you may WhatsApp or text on 0786 847 6577.
Yeah, definitely. Please do text, WhatsApp, and inshallah, hopefully the word will get out to all of our brothers and sisters out there. Even if not today, maybe inshallah, by somebody listening today, and inshallah, hopefully getting that message out to somebody. So inshallah, because these shows are going to be happening on a continuous basis as well. So mashallah, keep your messages coming in, and inshallah, pass the messages on. Also, somebody is just tuned in and saying, listening from Leicester as well. Jazakumullah khair. These interaction, I would really love once the shows do get on with the presenters as well. Please do, keep sending messages to our radio station. Mr. Kauther.
Can I just say, so many sort of verses of the Quran and also the sayings of the Prophet about us being Muslims to impart our knowledge about Islam to others. Our beloved Prophet said, convey my teachings to the people, even if you were a single sentence. From the Bukhari. Convey to the people my message, even if it's just a sentence. Just imagine, even if it's just a one verse, convey that to others. And also in the Quran, chapter 16, verse 125, invite to the way of your Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching. Let me just see if this is one of the brothers.
Right, no problem.
Assalamu alaikum. So who's this speaking? Brother Abdullah? Yes, is that Brother Abdullah? Yes, hello, how are you? Okay, I'll put you, you'll be on in the studio live, inshallah. I'll put you on hands-free, inshallah, you can talk here. Okay, so, my brothers and sisters who are listening, this is Sheikh Abdullah from London. And Brother Abdullah used to live in Bournemouth, is that right?
Alhamdulillah, yeah. Assalamu alaikum to everybody. Yes, I was living in Bournemouth, and some of the listeners may remember me from when I was up in Dewsbury during the month of Ramadan. This was, since then, as I said when I was talking on yesterday night, I've now moved to the Alif Academy, or working at the Alif Academy in London, and also working with the Basira charity, which is for giving some abilities to either be it deaf or blind or other special needs, learning difficulties and that sort of thing. But this is what I'm doing in London these days.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh Abdullah. Can I just say to the brothers and sisters who don't know about you, Sheikh Abdullah is a Maulana, he's a Sheikh, he's an Alim, and he's also blind. And he's a revert to Islam. So can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? When did you revert to Islam? What inspired you?
I came into Islam in 2002. I've been reading about it at school throughout my A-levels, and the thing which was amazing was it happened in RE classes. Now, I never really had dawah from anybody. I never had anybody propagating to me or encouraging me towards Islam, and I barely knew any Muslims. But I read about the religion and the core beliefs in my A-levels, and of course I had to study hard to get the grades, so that was my motivation. But I had something greater in mind. I read about it, despite the fact that I wanted to, we had to learn a religion, another religion, and what was besides Christianity, and we were learning about their philosophers in RE anyway. But Judaism, Judaism or Islam, that was the alternative. I decided Judaism because it sounded slightly less boring. So like the lesser of two evils. But what I found was that I was outvoted by the rest of the class, and this was an irony from Allah. And another thing was that it seemed like the course was only going to run for the first year. If it had happened like that, and you running for year 12, then I would never have taken it because I would not have benefited my UCAS points for university. But Allah Ta'ala willed it on that very first day. They changed their mind, and so they ran the course for the full 2 years. So I took it up. So that's another irony from Allah. And I was reading about all of the beliefs of Islam, be it firstly, the Tawheed, which was something I'd always believed. It was something innately in my makeup. Allah Ta'ala being one of all his qualities, Allah Ta'ala, his all-powerful nature, his all-knowing nature. So this was something which had always been in my mind. It was like my own religion being described back to me. And then when I got to the end of that first module, I failed that module, so Allah Ta'ala gave me even more time to think about it. As I had to reset it for a number of months. So I was spending more time thinking and learning about the religion of Islam.
MashaAllah. You see, Allah SWT had a plan for you, and Allah SWT is the best of planners. And this is Allah's will, isn't it? MashaAllah. So now that you embrace Islam, what are your experiences as being a Muslim and a blind person? And I know that you're doing a lot of talks and seminars and bayans in the various masajid. MashaAllah, you imparting the knowledge of Islam to others as an alim. So how does that make you feel? And what keeps you going, MashaAllah?
It was an amazing search. I mean, we'll be cutting out quite a lot of information, but basically having embraced Islam and having embraced the deen, I was obviously you move on from a certain group of friends, you meet another group, and it took me quite a long time to meet the Muslims. I mean, it was 2 years before we had Muslim friends.
2 years.
So
in that 2 years,
only at university. Sorry.
So in that case, in the 2 years so you had embraced Islam, and it was 2 years before you met Muslims. Is that what you're saying?
It was 2 years before I really started to practice my salah properly in English. I did it before in English, and I was making mistakes with other aspects of my deen. But when I met Muslims at the ISOC in Southampton University, where I was studying maths, this is where I got the opportunity to learn more about my deen. And when I found there was a prayer room there, and I found there were weekly fiqh circles and that sort of thing, and I started to mix with the brothers there. I even managed to share a house with a few of them for the final year at university. And this really gave me the opportunity to understand what brotherhood was about in Islam, and understand that the deen was, how wide the deen was. I was reading more and listening listening to more tapes about Islam and going to the Jamaat Kauther at the local, the Southampton University Jamaat Kauther. So that was something which where I met a lot of brothers, and I moved on with my deen. So as far as my parents are concerned, obviously they didn't like my coming into Islam. They were not happy.
What are they like after so many years? What are they like now? Are they still resentful? Are they in communication with you?
Well, at the start they were shocked. They didn't get aggressive or anything. We know, obviously, there are some situations where the families can be aggressive towards and throw the people out of the home even if they get upset with the fact that the person has embraced Islam. But my family were understanding, but they were very shocked. They were worried that I was going to become extreme or something like this. They were worried that I was going to be like all the bits everything about on the news. So they were relieved as time passed. Time is a great healer, and they were to find that Islam was peaceful and that Islam was a religion which had great morals and great ethics. It had some principles which they could appreciate at least, although they haven't embraced the deen.
MashaAllah. And about because you're blind, Sheikh Abdullah, do you read the Quran in Braille, or do you have audio tapes? How do you manage?
Yeah, the Quran is 6 volumes, and altogether it's very big actually in Braille. You have five sicaras in each, and it weighs about 10 kilos. So if you can imagine carrying the Quran around in a big box. If you look at your sighted Quran with a straw, then you'll find it very difficult to read. The blind person reads text. It's because your finger can only sense one letter at once. You can't read in a pretty curse going down one line after another. If you imagine that, so it's a lot more slow for a blind person to read the Quran.
Despite this fact, Sheikh Abdullah, this tells us something that despite this fact, despite this disability that you have, you're still inspired. You still came into the fold of Islam, and you're still trying hard to learn the deen. And you became an alim, mashallah, and you read the Quran in Braille, and despite the fact that you have to carry so many volumes and so heavy, and subhanAllah, this is an inspiration for us born Muslims who are who take it for granted, and we have a Quran we can easily read, we're able to communicate, and yet sometimes we don't even know the Quran.
I'm just very relieved that Allah Ta'ala has given me the opportunity to once you read about the Jannah and Jahannam, you read about the things that are going to happen on the day of Qiyamah, you want to stretch yourself, you want to get all this hasanah you're reading about, it's like tantalizing you, and you want to have some channel by which you can serve the deen and please Allah. So I just hope that Allah Ta'ala accepts the work that I've done. But this was the way I was feeling. I was reading more and listening to all these tapes in the early days, and I just felt from what I was reading, it was the best thing that certainly a blind person could do to reach closer to Allah. So I'm just happy that now looking back, I don't have any major regrets. I had the opportunity, and I took that opportunity. Allah gave me the tawfiq to do that. And I would encourage anybody in a similar position to try and take up the field of ilm. Of course, we all have any field has its own benefits, but the Islamic knowledge is over and above any other type of knowledge if you can use it properly. And now we hope that Allah Ta'ala will use me for this, especially with now this new charity that I'm working for, Basira, and anybody who wants to visit the website basera.co.uk. You can see what work they're doing.
For our viewers and listeners, can you just slowly repeat that so people can go on to it, inshallah?
It's called basera.co.uk is the website.
basera.co.uk. Yeah.
So basera.co.uk. You'll see that many in this area of Islam, that initially at least, we hope they will be. We will give the opportunity to certainly the listeners in Bantry and Dewsbury who are online as well. We want to give the ability to everybody all over the UK, inshallah, in future. But you'll see our centres and the classes that we're running for the people who are blind. Because our feeling is that just as I had the opportunity, nobody who is blind or deaf or disabled in any way should be denied the opportunity to learn the ilm. You know, often people will say, oh, somebody who's blind, you know, there's that hadith about if Allah takes away the two beloved things of the blind person, he will replace them with gender. Yes, that's true. That doesn't mean that there's no obligations upon the person. There's no obligations for them to learn their deen and to do as much as they can do. And over and above that, they want not only to get into gender, but to have a high level of gender to serve Allah Ta'ala. So this is why it's so important to open up the opportunities to everybody to be the weak, be the disabled, whatever, to learn. And in the same way, this is what I had the opportunity to do. I had to go to another continent to do it. There was only one school on the face of the earth that could really give me this full Darul Uloom. You know, there are other madrasas, yes, there are other maktabs, but a full Darul Uloom course, alim course, and a place where I could learn at this moment in time almost a quarter of the Holy Quran. Is something very special, and we want to open that up to many people because, you know, in parts of Africa, for instance, especially, there are missionary work going on, and some blind people they get assistance from the Christians, but nothing from the Muslims, and so they feel like Islam has nothing for the blind people, which is a total misconception on their part. So if we can offer the opportunities to such people, then it will preserve their iman to start with, and you know. It may take you more cost because of the materials having to be done in braille and that sort of thing. It may take an additional resources, but we believe in the charity that's worth the effort.
That's fantastic. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. So to those brothers and sisters who are listening, who know that they have somebody in mind who are blind and need some help and assistance in terms of reciting the Quran, but also about deen, then we have Sheikh Abdullah who can help and assist. If you have that, then please telephone the studio line on 01924 472 776. If not now, some other time, or text or WhatsApp on 07868 476 577, or log on to the website and ask the question on there, inshallah, and we'll definitely pass the message on to Sheikh Abdullah. You know, we are here as facilitators, as mediators, assisting and helping, communicating with Muslims and non-Muslims and new Muslims in particular, inshallah. Sheikh Abdullah, Jazakallah khair. Was there any final words that you want to say and mention?
Well, I'd like to also encourage the people who are listening, anybody who's interested in the other institution, the one that I've come from myself from Just Tagui in South Africa, but people should have a look, definitely, just spare a few minutes and look at that website themselves. They may find that very interesting. It's N for mother, N for naughty, blind, blind.org. If you look at that, then you will find exactly what work they're doing for the blind people in South Africa, yes, but also all over the world, because there's 15 different countries represented by 25 students, and inshallah in the future they hope to look at doing an alima course for sisters as well. So you know, this is all part of my story, which is why I'm mentioning it. These places are very important to me, and the work that I hope to be doing in the future is important. But we need to be from all the resources and using all the abilities Allah Ta'ala has given to us, because life is very short and very close. Very soon we're going to be meeting Allah Ta'ala.
Absolutely. Inshallah, we will invite you to the studio again, inshallah, one of these days. And it's been good speaking to you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for all the good work that you do. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you.
I hope to. Jazakallah khair for having me, and I look forward to speaking to the listeners again. I remind you I'm on air on Sunday nights at 5 o'clock. So we hope to speak to you all.
Inshallah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah, this is Sheikh Abdullah, mashallah, from London, a blind sheikh, revert to Islam, mashallah. And I know that he was born blind, but doing some very good work and doing a lot of dawah work. So inshallah, we've only got 3-4 minutes left. I'll see if I can contact sister.
Yeah, definitely. If you can get her on.
If so, a few minutes, inshallah. Otherwise, we'll try to catch her next week, inshallah. So inshallah, no, I can't get through to.
No problem.
There's
So
something
we're going to try next week.
but we will try next week, inshallah. So what do you think? This is an important topic.
Very
so
important.
many rivers to Islam, and as we get along the show, inshallah, every week, I'll be conducting more rivers to Islam from different parts of the country, mainly on the telephone because people cannot come to the studio. I'll try to get as many people as possible onto the studio so we can actually not only speak to them by voice, but also to see them as well, inshallah. So Brother Al-Mubarak, keep up the good work. May Allah reward you for setting up this radio and being a means of communication with people who are new Muslims. This is an important topic.
A very, very important topic indeed. And inshallah, over the weeks, you will see how important these topics are. And especially, sometimes to us, it may not be that important because we have been born Muslims, we have lived in a Muslim environment. But always think about those people who are not that fortunate. And maybe that you may know somebody, when you go to college or university or in your workplaces, and let them know about the Al Mubarak radio setup. You can view it live now on YouTube, listen to it on the free apps, or even on our website, www.almubarakradio.com. So all of these, places you can listen to. A lot of people are listening. I would like to say a big jazakumullah khair to Mr. Kauther Tai for taking his very, very, precious evening time. This is like, time which we call very quality time as well, and coming onto the radio, and will be coming every single week. So jazakumullah khair to yourself, Mr. Kauther Tai.
So thank you for listening, my brothers and sisters, and we'll catch you again next week, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Right, who would like a Mr. Al-Mubarak show? If you would like a Mr. Al-Mubarak show, because, this could be the last show, Mr. Kauther Tai. If you would like another show after this, then you have to WhatsApp me on 07868 If you people were to WhatsApp me, then I will definitely just take a short break. And once the short break is on, then what I will do is, inshallah, I will come back on air, even if it's for like half an hour, 45 minutes. We can have a little discussion, we can have some call-ins, etc. But for that, I need your support. You need to text or WhatsApp me on 07868 476-577. And let's see how many people do WhatsApp whilst we take the break. If we can just go down on to the bottom, that's it. And inshallah, jazakumullah khair.